Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
You can control the way elements position themselves on your web page using the 4 different position properties. They are static, which is the default, fixed, relative, and absolute. They can be adjusted using the top, bottom, left, and right attributes, and are assigned a numerical value using pixels. It is important to remember that positioning attributes will not work without first assigning a position property, and they will work differently depending on which property you use. As mentioned, the static property is the default and is not affected by the positioning attributes. All elements are considered to be static unless given a specific positioning property. The fixed property forces an element into a fixed position relative to the browser window. The fixed element will not move even when the page is scrolled. Fixed position elements are not part of the normal flow of the web page, and any other elements on your page will ignore the fixed element. Fixed elements can and will overlap any other elements on your web page. The relative property will move an element relative to its normal position in your HTML code. Relatively positioned elements reserve the space of the normal position in the flow of your page after they are repositioned, and will overlap other elements that occupy the space. Like a fixed position element, the absolute property sets an element in a specific location and it is not affected by the flow of the page. All other elements and your web page as a whole act as if the absolutely positioned element is not there. An absolute positioned element is placed relative to the first element that has a position set other than static. If you don't have any other specified elements, the position defaults to the HTML tag, which is the first position on your page. Unlike fixed property elements, the absolute positioned element will scroll with your page. The z-index property controls the way elements are stacked if they overlap each other. Its value is described numerically and can have a negative value. The z-index properties are counted with the lowest value always being behind any higher valued elements. If no z-index is assigned to positioned elements, the element positioned last in your HTML code will be on top. When setting positions of elements, you need to make sure you have a class defined for the element you are positioning. For example, heading 2 class of top will allow you to change a single level 2 heading using h2.top in your CSS code, so not all level 2 headings are affected by the positioning. Our on-screen example shows a paragraph with the class of first, the position attribute set to fixed, top 5 pixels, and right 100 pixels, which will force the paragraph 5 pixels from the top and 100 pixels from the right and will not move. We have heading 3 with the class of second, set to a position relative 10 pixels from the top of its original position and 10 pixels from the right of its original position. We have a div element with a position set to absolute, the left attribute of 100 pixels, top attribute of 350 pixels, and then we have an image with a position of fixed, set left at 0 pixels and top at 0 pixels, with a z-index of -1, forcing it behind any other elements. And our browser will display our first element that's set to fixed, our heading with no positioning, the heading with a relative position 10 pixels above and to the right of its original position, and then our div element with the absolute position 100 pixels from the left of the browser and 350 pixels from the fixed position element. And then as you can see, the image we uploaded is behind the first and all the elements because it's set with a z-index of -1. And when we scroll, everything moves but the image and the fixed position paragraph.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.